Hey beauties, welcome to my channel. I just wanted to talk to you really quickly about the and suddenly that you're believing God for. If you're interested at all, stay with me. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit. It was just in my spirit to do. I was sitting back kind of thinking about things I've believed God for, prayer, and things I've asked him for and I received. And there's two things in particular, but I'm going to touch on one, a situation that I had, and I was believing God for an end suddenly. I needed an end suddenly. It wasn't a prayer of, in your time, Lord, in due season, Lord. I need an end suddenly. And it started with my period. And this will be pretty graphic, maybe info for some people. So, you can click off when you feel like or think you might need to. Anyway, from my first period, which was 12, 13, something like that, the very first day of my first period, I had cramping. And it only progressed after that. And by the time I hit like 17, it was like really bad, really bad. I mean, my periods were always, from day one, extremely heavy, a lot of cramping, a lot of discomfort, dehydration. But as I hit my teens, they got worse. They were the type of cramps that would fold you over, dehydrated, vomiting, shaking, fever, all of that. And as I got older, it only got worse. The bleeding got heavier. I would pass clots and big ones that would have me doubled over, like delivering a child. It was so painful. It always felt like something was tearing from my body, just tearing from my body. I was born again and learned God's word for myself, really learned how to pray. I knew what I could have from God, what I could ask for. So by this time, as I got older, I'm believing God for and suddenly. I need an and suddenly. And I'm praying. And it got to the point where I was in so much pain. I can remember laying in my room on the floor. My husband was going to work. The kids were going to school. I was in so much pain, so much pain. I just wanted the Lord to take, I begged him to just take my life. Just take my life. Thank God he just so awesome, didn't listen to me. But that's how I felt, just that much pain, It just felt like I couldn't live through that pain. And I would take Tylenol and I would take it. Basically, I was ODing on it to the point of, vomiting, just trying to get some relief. And I think I was even passing out, in between the pain. I would be laying on the floor one minute, and the next minute I would be waking up, And so finally I started asking my doctor, telling her exactly what I was going through. She sent me to a specialist, and the specialist was like, you need to have a hysterectomy. And I was like, at this point, I had 3 children, didn't want any more, and it's like, whatever I have to do so that I don't have to live that every month for the rest of my life. I ended up a few weeks later having the hysterectomy. Now from 17 or maybe a little earlier, I started praying and asking God to just help me. And then I started to know God's word, and it changed from help me to, I know you can do it and suddenly, Lord. It's in your word. I know that I can have it, and that's what I'm expecting. It was times I would just believing God, expecting my and suddenly. I just figured, one morning I would get up and I would not have this anymore. And months and years went by. So I had the hysterectomy, and I was so thankful that God had his hand on me. My deliverance came through a doctor's knowledge. And I was thankful for the doctor that God had given the knowledge to, that he had the ability to change my entire life through that surgery. I remember waking up from that surgery and just thanking God that I was alive. Everything went well, thanking God. Still, a doctor did the surgery, but it was all God. God's hand was on it. He guided his hand. He covered me, and he healed me through that doctor. But I remember the month following, after my hysterectomy, during the time that I would have been having my period and going through hell, that it did not exist. And it hit me in my spirit, and I will never forget it. I was standing in my bedroom looking out the window, and I was just thinking, during this time, last month, I was going through hell, and suddenly, it's gone. It's amazing how God works, because it was, and suddenly, though it had been years from 17 to 32, it's as if I forgot about all those years. I was waiting for that, and suddenly, as if they didn't even exist. That's how good God is. That and suddenly, no matter how many years, it was and suddenly, I no longer have that pain. It's gone, and I'm free. And since then, I've been free. It was a prayer answered, and I did receive my and suddenly. I didn't get the surgery, and it had to take some time to eventually happen. And suddenly, they did the surgery, and it was over. And I don't know who needed to hear this, but whatever it is that you're believing God for, your and suddenly may not appear the way you think it should. God is still in the blessing business, and he's doing miracles every day, but sometimes our miracles don't look the way we would believe them to look. So majestic, like, oh. But at the same time, it's majestic and like, oh. Do you understand? That my and suddenly came in between years. I prayed for years, from 17 to 32, and suddenly I'm delivered. It didn't feel like I went through all those years. It was, and suddenly I was healed. And just know that God can turn things around. And trust me, he's in the blessing business. He's healing, he's delivering, he's opening up the windows, he's pouring out blessings. He is who he is, and he's faithful to his word. Just be sure to pray, trust him, give his word back to him. He's an awesome God. And don't give up because you've been praying for 2 years. Don't give up because you've been praying for 5 years. Because one thing for sure, it may not be when you want it, but he's never too late. He's always on time. Always. Always on time. Keep believing God for your children, for your household, for your business, for your finances, for your body, for the world, whatever it may be. You can receive your and suddenly. And just remember that your and suddenly may not look the way you thought it would look, but He'll surely be right on time. I just wanted to bless you with that because I feel like somebody needed that. It was just in my spirit and I couldn't get it off my mind. So I just decided to come here and make a quick video telling you to be encouraged and keep believing God for the and suddenly. And you'll receive it. If you believe it, all it takes is a mustard seed size of faith. Be blessed. And until next time, I'll be talking to you beauties.